And here, 11th canto, the Supreme Lord Himself is speaking in Uddhava Gita. Nakinche sadhavo dhira bhakta hyekantino mama vanchantyappi maya dattam kaivalyam punarbhavam. The devotees who have taken full shelter of me, they do not want anything uh, from me. They're not hankering for anything from me. Even if I give them the various types of spiritual opulences, they will refuse to accept them. So, what to speak of accepting anything material? Uh, Another quote from 11th canto. Krishna speaking again. In the 12th canto, Lord Shiva is speaking about Markandeya Rishi. Lord Shiva is telling Devi that look at this Markandeya. He has uh, attained pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore, persons like him, therefore, he does not have any desire even for liberation. And as such, he does not aspire after any benedictions, including liberation from the material world. And in Damodara Ashtaka from Padma Purana that we sing every year, you will find statements that we don't want anything other than Prema Bhakti. And there are other statements. Hayashishyachi Narayana Vyuhastava. Uh, there also there is this statement. And we do not want Dharma Artha Kama Moksha. We simply want to serve your lotus feet. And there itself, there is the statement of Prahlad Maharaj and Hanuman. Hanuman also says that I do not want liberation, I simply want to make you happy. Um, Jitante Stotra. So many places. So many places. See, this is the famous Atmarama text. So, therefore, uh, it is very clear that for those who are trying to progress in spirituality, liberation, which is prized as being uh, such a great achievement, is considered at best second class if it is personalistic. Whereas what they are hankering for is to exclusively please Krishna. These are advanced transcendentalists, and therefore what they are hankering for, that is termed in the Srimad Bhagavatam as Preeti, Bhagavad Preeti or Bhagavad Prema. And that Bhagavad Prema, that is the ultimate goal of life. That is the whole point. This is what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master told him. Other than that, everything else is insignificant. Panchama Purushartha Premananda Amrita Sindhu Mokshadi Ananda Jar Nahe Ek Bindu. For a devotee who has actually developed bhava, the pleasure derived from dharma, artha, kama, and moksha appears like a drop in the presence of the sea. Krishna namer phal prema sarva shastre koi. Bhagye se prema tomai korilo uday. The conclusion of all revealed scriptures is that one should awaken his dormant love of Godhead. You are greatly fortunate to have already done so. Premar swabhave kore chitta tonu khob. Krishner charana prapte upajaye lobh. It's a characteristic of love of Godhead that by nature it induces transcendental symptoms in one's body and makes one more and more greedy to achieve the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Premar swabhave bhakta hase kande gaye. Unmatto hiya nache iti uti dhai. When one actually develops love of Godhead, he naturally sometimes cries, sometimes laughs, sometimes chants, and sometimes runs here and there just like a madman. Uh, these are not meant to be imitated. Sweda kampu romanchashru gadgada vaivarnya unmada vishada dhairya garva harsha dhainya eto bhave prema bhakta ganere nachai krishner ananda amrita sagare bhasai. Perspiration, trembling, standing on end of one's bodily hairs, tears, faltering voice, fading complexion, madness, melancholy, patience, pride, joy, and humility. These are various natural symptoms of ecstatic love of God, which causes a devotee to dance and float in an ocean of transcendental bliss while chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So this is a very, very uh, exalted achievement. ভালো হইল পাইলে তুমি পরম পুরুষার্থ তোমার প্রেমেতে আমি হইলাম কৃতার্থ. It is very good, my dear child, that you have attained the supreme goal of life by developing love of Godhead. Thus you have pleased me very much, and I am very much obliged to you. According to the revealed scriptures, if a spiritual master can convert even one soul into a perfectly pure devotee, his mission in life is fulfilled. Notice this expression, perfectly pure devotee. There is devotee and there is impure devotee and pure devotee. Uh, the category of devotee can be subdivided into pure devotee and impure devotee. Impure devotees can be further subdivided into perfect pure devotees and imperfect pure devotees. Imperfect pure devotees can be compared to a green mango, which simply by time will turn into ripened yellow mango. The yellow mango is a perfectly pure devotee, can be compared to a perfectly pure devotee. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur always used to say, even at the expense of all the properties, temples, and mathas that I have, if I could convert even one person into a pure devotee, my mission would be fulfilled. Uh, into a pure devotee here refers to a perfect pure devotee. Of course, if one becomes a pure devotee and simply sticks to that status of pure devotion and ensures that he doesn't fall into impure devotion, then he will become a perfect pure devotee. It is very difficult, however, to understand the signs of Krishna, what to speak of developing love of God. Therefore, if by the grace of Lord Chaitanya and the spiritual master, a disciple attains the standard of pure devotional service, the spiritual master is very happy. The spiritual master is not actually happy if the disciple brings him money, but when he sees that a disciple is following the regulated principles and advancing in spiritual life, he is very glad and feels obliged to such an advanced disciple. नाचो गाओ भक्त संगे करो संकीर्तन Krishna नाम upadeshi taro sarvajan. My dear child, continue dancing, chanting, and performing sankirtan in association with devotees. Furthermore, go out and preach the value of chanting Krishna naam, for by this process you will be able to deliver all fallen souls. This is the ambition of a perfect pure devotee. A perfect pure devotee very much likes to spread Krishna consciousness. In fact, only advanced devotees can understand the meaning of preaching Krishna consciousness properly. Others are simply imitating the activity of preaching. But nevertheless, even if that imitation is pleasing to the perfect pure devotee Acharya, then that is also success for us. ये तो बोली एक श्लोक शिखाई ल मोरे भागवतेर सारे बोले बारे बारे. Saying this, my spiritual master taught me a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the essence of all the Bhagavatam's instructions. Therefore, he recited this verse again and again. एवं व्रतः स्वप्रियनाम कीर्त्या जातानुरागो द्रुतचित्त उच्चैः हसत्यथो रोदिति रौति गायत्युन्मादवन् नृत्यति लोकबाह्य. When a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, cries, becomes agitated, and chants just like a madman, not caring for outsiders. So the idea is that such a person, he has attained the highest perfection of life. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pointing out that this is how one makes spiritual progress, and this is factually the highest attainment of existence. On hearing this statement from the Lord, the Mayavadi sannyasi asked the Lord what was the harm in studying the Vedanta along with chanting the holy name. Prakashananda Saraswati knew well that the Lord was formerly known as Nimai Pandit, a very learned scholar of Navadvip, and his posing as a great fool was certainly to some purpose. Prakashananda Saraswati is not a fool also. He understands that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pointing out the supreme importance of chanting the holy names of the Lord. But what is wrong in studying the Vedanta? That is what he is asking. Now, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to reply to Prakashananda Saraswati in a fitting manner. Hearing this inquiry by the sannyasi, the Lord smiled and said, "My dear sir, if you do not mind, I will answer your inquiry." Uh, if you do not mind, it is very, very pleasant. All the sannyasis there were very much pleased with the Lord for his honest dealings, and they unanimously replied that they would not be offended by whatever he replied. The Lord then spoke as follows: Vedanta Sutra consists of transcendental words or sounds uttered by the transcendental personality of Godhead. As such, in the Vedanta, there cannot be any human deficiencies like mistake, illusion, cheating, or inefficiency. The message of the Upanishads is expressed in the Vedanta Sutra, and understanding the direct meaning of what is said there is certainly glorious. Uh, so, the Vedanta Sutra is written by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Vyasadeva, and as such, the Vedanta Sutra cannot have any mistake. The Vedanta Sutra summarizes the intention of the Upanishads. The Upanishads are different parts of the four Vedas, they are the final conclusions of the four Vedas. And the Vedanta Sutra expresses the message of the Upanishads. So the idea is that whatever is being concluded in the Vedanta Sutra is understood to be the factual intention of the Upanishads. And therefore, study of the Vedanta Sutra is very, very important for anyone who wants to understand the meaning of the Upanishads. I have set out the relationship between the Upanishads and Vedanta Sutra like this. The Upanishads are considered to be Nirnetavya Shastra. Their meaning needs to be clarified with the help of certain other scriptures such as Vedanta Sutra and Bhagavatam. The Vedanta Sutra is a Nirnayaka Shastra. It is a scripture whose meaning clarifies the meaning of other scriptures such as the Upanishads. Similarly, Bhagavatam is a Paramanirnayaka Shastra. It is a superior Nirnayaka Shastra. It is a supreme Nirnayaka Shastra. It is a supreme scripture whose meaning clarifies the meaning of all lower scriptures. So therefore, study of Vedanta Sutra automatically clarifies the meaning of the Upanishads. So even if the Upanishads appear to be speaking of something impersonal, you have to go to the Vedanta Sutra to see what the Vedanta Sutra is teaching. Is the Vedanta Sutra teaching anything, propounding anything impersonal? No. The Vedanta Sutra is propounding the personal absolute truth as the supreme absolute truth, as the one and only supreme absolute truth. And therefore, the Upanishads must be speaking of the same, because the Vedanta Sutra is nothing but expressing the meaning of the Upanishads. It clarifies the meaning of the Upanishads, and there cannot be any mistake. That is the whole point. If you say that factually speaking, the ultimate meaning of scripture is impersonalism, then how will you bypass the Vedanta Sutra? The Vedanta Sutra is anti-impersonalistic. It is anti-impersonalistic in itself. The Vedanta Sutras, each aphorism is distinctly personalistic. It is not talking of anything impersonal, and therefore there is no question. There is no question of the Upanishads propounding something impersonal. No, there is something wrong with our understanding of the Upanishads. That is the point. That is exactly the point. And therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that since the Vedanta Sutra cannot be making a mistake, our understanding of the Upanishads must be wrong. Whatever interpretations have been given by Shankaracharya have no direct bearing on the Sutra, and therefore such commentation spoils everything. Shankaracharya's explanation on the Sutra are quite parenthetical. They're quite parenthetical. What do I mean by parenthetical statements? It means just like you write something and then you put some parentheses and write something inside it, and then you continue your writing. So Shankaracharya, he explains the meanings of the sutras, and every now in between he gives his own Mayavad inside, and that is actually noted by scholars.